Welcome back to Irrational Investors. This time, we're diving into the book Co-Intelligence by Ethan Mollick. Look, if you're still kind of wondering why you should even be using AI, let alone how, then honestly, this book is for you. We're going to break down his key ideas on how to stop thinking of AI as just, a tool and start seeing it as a real partner.
All right, so the biggest idea in the whole book is this massive shift in how we think about AI. We've got to stop seeing it as just a souped-up spell check or something. Mollick's point is we need to see it for what it really is, a totally new kind of partner, a co-intelligence, as he calls it.
So Mollick has this term for it, a general-purpose technology. And look, that's not just some fancy jargon. What it means is that AI belongs in the same club as world-changing inventions like steam power or even the internet. We're talking about technologies that didn't just make one thing a little better. No, they completely rewrote the rules for, well, everything.
And if you want to get a sense of just how big this is, you got to look at the numbers. Early studies are showing productivity gains from AI that are they're off the charts. Think about this. Steam power, the engine that literally drove the Industrial Revolution. It boosted factory output by around 22%. That's huge, right? Well, AI is already showing the potential to do 3 or 4 times that. It's a whole different ballgame.
Okay, so if AI is this ridiculously powerful, how in the world are we supposed to work with it, right? This is where Mollick introduces this absolutely brilliant idea for understanding AI's weird, unpredictable abilities. He calls it the jagged frontier.
I want you to picture this invisible wall, right? On one side is everything AI can do, and on the other is everything it can't. But here's the catch. That wall, that frontier, it's super jagged. It makes absolutely no logical sense to us. Something that seems crazy complicated might be a piece of cake for an AI. While something a 5-year-old could do, it might totally stump it. And the only way you can figure out where those jagged edges are is by poking it. You have to experiment.
And here's a fantastic example of that paradox in action. You can ask a modern AI to write all the code for a fully working tic-tac-toe game on a web page, and you know what? It'll nail it perfectly. But then, if you show that same AI a game of tic-tac-toe that's already started and just ask it what's the best next move, it often gets it wrong. That right there is the jagged frontier. The thing that seems super complex is easy, and the thing that seems dead simple is hard.
All right, so understanding this jagged frontier thing is a huge first step. But what do we do with that knowledge? How does it actually help us work with AI and get great results? Well, Mollick gives us some really clear, really powerful strategies.
Now, this might just be the single most important tip in the whole book. He says, treat the AI like a person. But you have to tell it what kind of person to be. Don't just give it a command, give it a role, a persona. Tell it, you're an expert marketer, or you're a skeptical editor. When you give the AI a role, you give it context, and that helps it snap out of those boring, generic answers we all hate. Just look at this example. Instead of just typing, give me slogans for a cheese shop, you give it a persona. You're an expert marketer. You use clever wordplay. Now, come up with 20 slogans. That one little change, it's a total game changer. The quality and the creativity of what you get back are just on a whole other level.
Mollick also gives us this really handy way to think about how much AI we should use for any given task. It's basically a spectrum. On one end, you've got the just me tasks, stuff we're still better at. Then you can move into what he calls centaur or cyborg mode. That's when you're working side by side with the AI. And you can go even further, delegating tasks to it or even fully automating them.
You know, one of the most shocking things about AI is its ability to be creative. Yeah, creative. This is the one area we all thought was safe, right? Uniquely human. But this isn't just about getting AI to do boring work. It's about using it as a true partner to come up with ideas that are new, high quality, and sometimes, honestly, brilliant. And get this, there's some pretty mind-blowing data to back this up. In an innovation contest at Wharton, they put an AI up against 200 business students. The task? Come up with new product ideas. The result was insane. Human judges looked at the top 40 ideas, and guess what? 35 of them came from ChatGPT. The AI wasn't just quicker, its ideas were actually rated as better and more likely to succeed in the market.
And this kind of creativity can take you to some really weird and wonderful places. The book has these amazing examples, like asking an AI to design coffee machines inspired by Marvel superheroes. One of the results was a coffee machine based on the Scarlet Witch's chaos magic, and it brews a completely random, surprise coffee every single time.
How cool is that? It's a perfect example of how AI can push us way beyond our normal creative limits.
So all of this really leads to the one huge, unavoidable question. Where is all this going? And Mollick is super clear on this point. The future isn't set in stone. The path we take from here, well, that's going to be decided by the choices that all of us are making right now.
So what could that future look like? The book doesn't pretend to have a crystal ball. Instead, it does something way smarter. It lays out a few different possible scenarios that we really need to get our heads around.
He basically gives us 4 potential futures. First, things could just plateau. AI progress could hit a wall. Or it could just be a straight line, steady, predictable growth. Then there's the exponential curve, where things get crazy, fast. And finally, there's what he calls the machine god scenario. The moment a true superintelligence arrives and, well, changes everything forever.
Now, facing these possibilities, Mollick brings up this really cool concept from a very unexpected place. J.R.R. Tolkien, the author of Lord of the Rings, the word is eucatastrophe. And it's not a disaster, it's the opposite. It's a good catastrophe. It means a sudden, joyous turn for the better. You know, like that unexpected happy ending when all hope seems lost.
And this really is the book's final, and I think most powerful message. The future of AI isn't just something that's going to happen to us. We can't just sit back and watch. We have to be active participants. We have to aim for that eucatastrophe, that good outcome. Because if we don't, if we just do nothing, well, we might just make one of the bad catastrophes inevitable.
That's all for now. We hope you enjoy it. We'll see you soon with another video from Irrational Investors. For more insights, remember to check us out at www.irrationalinvestors.com.